first question I have for you, do I call you Johnny or are you John to some people?
John to my landlord.
You're
No,
Johnny
I
to
mostly
everybody.
Johnny.
Got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah.
Well, and you're dialing in from Los Angeles today. I know you have Chicago roots.
Yeah, dialing in from LA, born and raised in Chicago. Uh, always miss the Windy City though. I love Chicago.
I can imagine. Well, the new album by your band, Future Self, first album in 7 years, at least from the release standpoint. How long was it in the works for?
Yeah, so we had been kind of recording stuff and voice memos and in the Notes app for a few years. I think probably about a year and a half or two of kind of dedicated work towards the album.
Mm-hmm.
But we were really excited to get back into the studio, and once we had the opportunity to do that, we hopped right in.
Was it an easy album to make because there was no deadline and nobody was kind of knocking on your door? There was no A&R person going, where's the hit? Where's the single? You did it at your own leisurely pace?
Yeah, I think there is something to that. One of the things that was unique about this album is that we ended up passing a lot of files back and forth between different parts of LA, and then half the band, my two brothers moved to New York, so a lot of stuff flying around in the web in advance of going off to the studio. So we were able to do it at a leisurely pace, but ultimately things take as long as you want to give it. So
good point. The process that you're describing sounds like, and for better and for worse, I'm a big fan of Def Leppard. And I was reading about Joe Elliott from Def Leppard talking about how they made their new album in that kind of a fashion where I think among the five members, they're in 3 different countries. So basically they were all sending files to a producer who had to like cut and paste it all together, and they were happy with it. In your case, who was the person that was having to cut and paste it all together?
Yeah, so we for this album, we had a number of different people work on it. From kind of, there wasn't one sort of singular producer per se. We went to Gravity Studios, worked with Doug McBride, Gray Taxon, Mina Lauren, and Daniel Farnsworth out there, and so they're awesome. It was a lot of fun to work with them in the studio. I think we like the sound of songs, when they're recorded as live as they can be, as sort of like the bass take. So there wasn't a ton of mad scientist work to try to stitch together Frankenstein. I mean, some of the songs were like that, but at a base level, I think philosophically, we feel like if you should be able to play it on guitar, or play it on piano, or just sing the song for it to, as just kind of a test. So that's what we forced ourselves to do.
I remember reading about Rick Rubin giving that advice to the Beastie Boys at some point in the 90s, where he said, if you can't play the song on acoustic instruments, it's not a real song.
I've never heard that. That's funny.
Well,
I think it's true. I think it's funny because sometimes I remember we were in Russia. We were there doing a tour, and we were at someone's house, and they kind of handed us an acoustic guitar, like, play some stuff. And that, I think that was a light bulb of like, well, let me try to think about the songs that we have that we should play. And I think that's a good it's a good way to just to force yourselves to write for that kind of context. And that was right in between our last album and this album, so that was kind of something that I was thinking about when we were trying to draw this one up.
Yeah, well, you just brought up Russia, which is actually a topic I want to speak about. Not current events there per se, more that you guys are one of 2 bands that I'm aware of that kind of do the U.S. cultural ambassador thing. I know about you and the Mary McBride band, where they played like 50, 60 countries, something like that. They're always going to, hey, because my friend plays drums in that band. It's like, yeah, I'm going to Dubai tomorrow. And you go, what? How did you first get involved in that project, that ongoing process of the US government going, you're trustworthy to represent us in different countries. Here you go.
Oh man, I don't, that kind of came about in a way that a lot of different opportunities have come about as a band, which is, we were just planning a show. I mean, we played a show in South by Southwest, and after the show, we started talking to some people, and they mentioned that this, this program existed where there was sort of an arts and cultural exchange. And they're like, hey, you should check this thing out. And so we followed up, we kept in touch. We started off doing an interview with Planet 94, which is a radio station based in Islamabad, Pakistan. And, that interview went well. And then we started to we kept talking with them. And then all of a sudden we were in Azerbaijan doing a tour. There's a lot of stuff in between. I'm trying to give like the, 30,000 foot view fast forward through it all. But, I'll be honest, it's probably, I think it's definitely one of the most incredible experiences that I personally have had, just from a life standpoint. But, from a music standpoint as well, it's really been awesome to go to these places and, meet new people, listen to the music they're producing, and have music as an opportunity to connect with people in a different way than I think, typically our countries interact. So it's really been awesome. And Russia was no exception to that. I think, a lot of the places that we've gone, it's been very rewarding and fun.
I'd have to imagine in doing those kinds of gigs that not only do you have different sets, like, hey, this is our US club set, this is our US festival set, but you also have a set of, this is the set we play for people who don't really know rock music, let alone having heard us before, to win them over. You have that.
Yeah, that's the highlight reel. You gotta bring the noise. You gotta rock out. I think that when we try to, for those shows, we try to do a mixture of songs that we've written and then songs that they might know, or maybe kind of good appetizers into rock music, to the extent we're playing in front of a group that maybe is less familiar with kind of rock and roll and the canon of rock and roll. But that's part of the fun. It's trying to craft the set and go out there and do your best to perform it.
Well, going back to that new album, Future Self, again, the first album from the band in about 7 years. How far ahead are things planned for the band? Do you know, for example, the touring and the next album, or how far ahead are you looking?
We have some shows that we're working on. Those are going to be in the next few months. Believe it or not, we're already working on the next album. I think the part of the thing about being in isolation and quarantine for whatever 2 years is we've been able to kind of put together a bunch of different songs. So already on the next one, we're going to be going to Nashville here in a few weeks to record some of that, and then Chicago. And so yeah, it's recording and then new shows. Onward.
Well, people who really dig into you will know from social media that there's not just 3 siblings that are in the entertainment field. I know of a 4th one, and I love some of the comedy that she's helped produce and bring into the world. Is there a 5th sibling?
Oh yeah, I have a twin sister who's also she's working on her feature film, which will be out this summer. And so she's, for everyone out there, I think I've seen bits and pieces of it, and I think it's pretty cool. So
all the
shout out to my twin
siblings,
sister Marion.
all the siblings wound up in entertainment.
Yeah, we I guess that's what happens when you have 5 kids. You kind of figure out a way to entertain yourselves as a way of probably providing, hopefully, a little bit of peace to our parents. I can't imagine 5 kids in 4 years, so. we've always been close, and I think you know, we had the band tryouts as little kids, and you know, there's our sisters were like, no way, we're not gonna be a band with you bozos. Well, you guys go, you guys do your thing. We're gonna go do cooler film and television stuff. So
Yeah, so the three brothers wound up in a band together. The two sisters wound up in the film and television worlds, and
yeah.
everybody has a career. How many cases besides the Cowsills does that really happen? The Osmonds, the Cowsills. Are there other ones? The Jacksons?
You know, geez, I don't know. I don't know. We're, I mean, we've certainly heard the Brady Bunch as the band. We've heard, let's see, Hanson, the Von Tropps, Jonas Brothers. You know.
But with the Jonas Brothers, there's just three of them who made it. The fourth one, I don't think made it. With the Hansons, just three of them. In your case, there's five of them.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, Hansons. Booyah.
Yeah, that's you guys. So, you know, close to your name is the legendary soul pop singer Johnny Mathis. Did anything ever accidentally come to Johnny Mathis for you in the mail?
You know what's funny about that? I remember a few years ago, I had a Facebook message, and I'm reading it, and I was like, Johnny, I'm such a fan of your music. And I was like, oh, fan mail, great. And I keep reading, it's like, I've been a fan for 50 years. And I was like, oh no, I think she means Johnny Mathis. So
it has happened.
It has happened. Yeah.
But no royalty checks going to the wrong place.
Oh man. Yeah, that would be a deep dark secret if I was.
Yeah, that actually does happen. Like, I was talking to Paul Gray from The Damned, who shares a name with Paul Gray from Slipknot, who's deceased, and a check or two went to him. And I think there was a song called like, it was a really foul-mouthed kind of title to it that had expletives, and he was like, I didn't write a song called that. Oh, the other guy. So one day.
That's funny, man. I guess I'll yeah, that you know, who knows, let's just give it some time. Maybe I'll, you know, I don't know what I can do. Maybe I'll log into ASCAP, see if I can do some like minimal coding, ones and zeros type stuff, and make it work.
We can all have goals and dreams. Dartmouth alumni, they know how to do stuff like that. Well, the last two questions I have for you. First one, kind of a stock question, but you're an LA person, but not, you know, by nature. You're a Chicago person, live to LA. But any Van Halen interactions or sightings that happened to you over the years?
Ooh, Van Halen. You know, no Van Halen interactions yet. But I will say, you know, the funny thing about moving to LA, I remember when we first got here, we like had the van out, and you know, we're just driving to a crosswalk, and all of a sudden this like yellow Richard Grieco type Lamborghini, Richard Grieco, like a reference to Night at the Roxbury.
Oh yeah, I mean, not just a Night at the Roxbury where you name drop Richard Grieco. In real life, it happens too.
Yeah. So we're at the crosswalk. It's a yellow Lamborghini. You know, this is literally like the first 5 minutes of getting to LA, and all of a sudden, all these paparazzis get out, and they're like, Lindsay, and they're taking photos and whatever, and they're rolling on, and it's Lindsay Lohan, and I'm like, oh my god, this is Los Angeles, what? And you know, like you can, I think on TMZ later, you can hear the background like, hey, you know, like my brother who is like, I guess he's just trying to like help the situation, because to be honest, I think it was a little overwhelming how much the paparazzi were just like up in the grill, and it seemed a little bit intense. But in any event, I think you could like see or hear my brother in the background on TMZ the next day, and I was like, oh, this is like the dunk tank, into the dunk tank. This is what Los Angeles is. Welcome to LA. It was in the span of honestly like 5 minutes of being here. So no Van Halen moments, but that was a bizarre like welcome to LA situation.
Fair. And my last question, as we talked about before, there's some TV blood in the family, but do you have a TV recommendation you could pass along to somebody who needs a new show to start?
Ooh, I just finished Ozark, which I love that show. I love that show. It's kind of got a little bit of everything, a little comedy, a little bit of, drama, all that fun stuff. So
Bateman.
have you seen Ozark?
That has been heavily recommended. Watched every Arrested Development. I watched The Hogan Family, but I have not seen Ozark.
Check it out.
Here it's intense. Here you won't be able to just watch one. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, I am proof that that's the case. I did the old binge exercise and knocked it out pretty quick.
Fair. Well, Johnny, I look forward to the next gig in New York whenever that happens, but congrats on getting this album out and glad another one is in the pipeline.
Thanks. Well, it was fun talking.
Paltrocast.